Good morning. Welcome to Crochet Rocks. This is not exactly a rocks chat. I'm not back to my morning routines yet. Well, I hate the word routine. It's not really me. I fight routines. I can't do them. I feel trapped in a routine. I don't know why. Always have felt like that. So when my children wanted to eat or drink, that's when they did. They didn't have a routine. They had what they wanted. You know, I can't do apart from bedtime routine. I needed that one. That was one I definitely needed. So, as you can probably hear, I'm still unwell, but I am on the road to recovery. Feel an awful lot better now than I did, but it's not gone yet. And I was awake till 4 in the morning last night because I couldn't sleep due to coughing. I'd been really sick before, so I thought, oh, good, I'll sleep tonight. But no, it wasn't to be. So I was tired, so I tried to get to sleep, but it wasn't going to happen. And I couldn't stop coughing, so I just got up and watched TV until I couldn't stay awake anymore, and then went to bed about 4. But this is day 3 of my antibiotics, so usually by day 3, that's when you start to see them kick in and improve. But to be honest, I've improved mega amounts since last week. Last week I would never have sat in this chair. In fact, I couldn't speak. So even if I wanted you to see the illness face, I definitely couldn't have spoken to you. So I am a lot better than I was, but still a ways to go. But one good thing is the last few days have been glorious sunshine, and today's even warmer apparently. We do have a bit of a sea breeze, but so for a couple of days I had lunch out on the decking with Fluffy at my side, and it was lovely and peaceful, apart from the distant sound of diggers, because they're still tipping loads of stuff over the cliff, and they're going to be there forever, I think. So apart from that, in the distance, that was the only sound to be had. There were no birds, no children, nothing. It was just total quiet, which was nice. And the sun. I haven't got my egg chair out yet. Gary's off this weekend, so I'm hoping at some point that he'll put that up. But I was sitting on the other chairs that we bought. Didn't get the cushions out because there was still chances of rain, and I couldn't, well, I suppose I could have just brought 2 in the chair I was sitting in, but yeah, I was a bit lazy. Saps your energy being ill, really. I mean, I'm starting to get little bursts of it. So, I think, oh, let's go and sort the washing out. And then afterwards it'd be like, I'm going to go and sit down now. So I'm getting these bursts of energy, but they don't last too long. So anyway, I've been working on some crochet. I did show you the blanket that I made. I started that a while ago, that mile a minute one. It was very similar to the scarf I made. So before I send that off to my sister, I'll do a little tutorial on that. I feel like I'm getting my voice enough to start thinking about tutorials. And likewise, the Pennies from Heaven scarf is going to be a long project, because it's one of these things that you can't really sit down and do a whole thing at once, because it's quite tedious. I will show you what I mean when I come to show you it. But it's a project that every now and then you can pick up and do some. I didn't do any yesterday because I've been inventing a new stitch. Well, I think these look like little trophies. So I was going to call it the trophy stitch. I don't know what else it looks like. So this is how the stitch looks, and this is with Aran yarn, 4-weight Aran yarn in one colour. Obviously this is blue, so that's what it kind of looks like. Now I made a big blanket which was stripy, and I did 2 rows of each colour, so it would be like this. I didn't have lots of lovely colours, so I was just using scraps basically. So it's going to be a car blanket, or maybe a Tyler blanket, because he needs one. He hasn't had one for ages. But it's not I would rather give him a nicer one, to be honest with you. But this is what it looks like with one colour, and I do feel like these look like little trophies. So then I thought, what does it look like variegated? So I chose this one because I had one one ball of this knocking around. This used to be my absolute ultimate favourite Poundland yarn. They have changed it, and I'm not keen now that they've changed it. And the way they've changed it is to put blue in it. So although it had this very faint blue going through, it was more kind of where it came out of the green. But now they've changed it to quite a vibrant blue, and I don't think it's as good. So there is a slight amount of slanting, I feel, when I make this. Can you see the edges slant? I don't quite know how to counteract that, and I don't really know why it's happening, because the stitch count remains constant. And the only thing I can think of is the actual stitch that you go into for this row makes it have that look of slanting. But I really like this. I really like it in the variegated. I think it's really pretty. But the way I've done this swatch means that the self-striping is perfect for this stitch count, but it wouldn't be if I did it over like blanket size. So it would be a lot more kind of different colourful sort of vibe going. Whereas this works just right with the self-striping, I feel. Now, this is a DK 3-weight yarn, and that's why I decided to give it, see what it looks like in variegated, but also what it looks like with a DK, and what it looks like with an Aran weight. It's not too dissimilar, but it does actually depend on the thickness of your Aran, because this is Poundland Aran and it's quite chunky, but some of the Poundland Aran, or the Arans that I've used, seem almost to be as thick as a chunky yarn, and it really does make a difference. But I really like this, so I made made another blanket with it. I've more or less finished it. I've just got to do some edging. I will do a tutorial for this, stitch count and how to do it as well once I'm done. That's what I've been doing with myself, watching reruns of Designated Survivor, which is bizarre because there's an awful lot of Russia-Ukraine stuff going on in that program, and at the time when I watched it, it was kind of went over my head, but now it's like, oh, you know, it's not actually anything that sort of depicts current events, but it was weird as I was watching it to suddenly see this part of it, and you think, wow, you know, life imitates art so many times. But that's one of them. And there was something else that came up that was very similar to something that's sort of happening. But yeah, I've been watching a lot of telly getting a very square backside and square eyes. But then, you know, what else is there to do but sit and tinker with your hooks? I've almost finished the knitted crochet scarf that I did. It was a cowl. As soon as I started that, they promised that we were going to have really cold weather, and look what's happened. Sunshine, warm, it's like spring, it's lovely, and dare say, this is England after all. It will freeze up soon, but it'll be there for next time. But I really like the colours. But one thing that really annoyed me is I thought I had 2 balls of Hayfield Bonus super chunky, so I made just this cowl, well, infinity scarf, cowl, whatever you want to call it. And then I would have found a couple more, so it's like really annoying. I could have made so much more with it, but I still can. I can make gloves and a hat, but I've only got one side of the edging to do, and then it's done. Lots of ideas keep popping in my head. I must get out of the habit of not finishing them though, because that's why I'm plugging on with that blanket. Although I'm not, when I look at it, I don't like the colours much. I don't think it, you know, it's just scraps, so it's not colours I would normally choose to do a blanket with. I'm thinking, nope, you're not just going to leave that. You're going to finish it, and it's going to be something, whether it's a car blanket or what, you're going to finish it. And then I'm going to get out another one of my whips and finish that. So at least my time is not being kind of like wasted just sitting here and feeling sorry for myself. Sorry about all this coughing and throat clearing. It's a lot better than it was, I can tell you. It's been a nightmare, to be honest with you. But yesterday, I Zoomed with Chris, my webman. We haven't spoken for 2 weeks. The first week I had Harley. Remember that? I had my little house guest. Harley was staying with me while they moved house. Their house is absolutely lovely. It really is. It's a 1920s stroke 30s house. And if you know what they are like in the UK, they are lovely. The bay windows, nice big long gardens. Different life back then to what we have today. So family life was a lot different. And the size of the rooms reflect that. And they have these huge dining rooms because that was the heart of the house back then. Most people spent most of their time in the kitchen dining room. So most of the kitchen's like a little galley kitchen that come off the dining room. And I don't know if that was an add-on or if that was how it was. But the biggest room in the house is the dining room. And then you've got a kind of a small front room at the actual front of the house, which back in those days was called the front parlour. And it was where you retired to in the evening to sit and do your crochet, your knitting, your reading, whatever. But it was a kind of a genteel life. Listen to the radio maybe. People didn't have TVs, then. So it wasn't the lounge where everybody goes and hangs out and drapes over the furniture and watches TV. It's a different functionality now. So the front room is quite small. They've got this lovely bay window. But where they lived before, they had a huge front room, so all the furniture's too big for the room. And so once that's kind of sorted out, the space will be utilised a lot better. But it is quite a smallish front room. It's not small. It's much smaller than they had. But back then, it was different. And we had the same thing when Paul was a baby, actually. As soon as Michael was born, we moved out of there. But we had a 1930s house. The house was smaller. It had a big round bay window, but it was a 2-bedroom. And it was on a high street, which is why we moved. Because our bedrooms, both were lovely size, big rooms. And the dining room was a massive dining room, and the kitchen was this little galley kitchen. But our front room was smaller because, because of the sort of type of house, back in those days, how they lived. But they also had chimneys, and that kind of makes the room a little smaller because you've got a fireplace. Whereas when the one that we bought, the people who had it before us took them all out. They ripped out every fireplace and they put in radiators. So we had a little bit of a bigger room because we didn't have all those fireplaces and alcoves. We, had more space. Anyway, I have to blow, so I'm just going to pause it for a second. That's better. I can breathe. So it hasn't been a cold. That's the weirdest thing. When Harley was here, after a few days, he developed a really awful cold. First of all, it was a cough. So I was a bit concerned that I would get this real nasty cold that he got. But I didn't. Thank the Lord, is all I can say. But my nose was relatively clear. I did get, nose blows, but nowhere near what I was imagining. So that was one good thing, at least. I didn't, have that to contend with as well. I was going to tell you something else then. It totally went out of my head. Nope, it's gone. It's just gone forever. Gone forever. So, yeah, I've decided that I am fed up with feeling so unhealthy. I've been feeling unhealthy ever since the 4th of August when I had my surgery. And obviously it's a long, slow road to recovery after major surgery. So I decided that I was going to do Swimming Well with Gary and get back on track, but I can't. I really can't do it because I'm finding it's very difficult to do that. Gary's not committed to it, and I'm getting a few weeks of, well, not even that long, of trying to be healthy, and then all of a sudden it all comes crashing down. Something happens, something sways us, something kind of pulls me off, and that's it. So for the last 4 or 5 days, I gave up sugar. I haven't had one thing. No, I lie. A little bit, I lie. I have things like ketchup, which obviously I buy either 50% sugar-free or no added sugar ketchup if I can. So it's not as bad as it could be. Or I might have a little bit of pickle or something like that in a sandwich. But the first thing I do is give up all sugar, like sweets, biscuits, cakes, don't eat anything like it. And then once my body's used to that and I'm a little bit feeling more on top of things, I give up the rest of carbs. And I do it in gradual stages. And I've done that, always done that, because I just feel like to give up too much at once is what gives you withdrawal. And not just withdrawal in pangs of feeling like you need something, but the withdrawal that causes illness or feeling ill or feeling run down, or whether they want to call it Atkins flu, keto flu, whatever they want to call it. It's because you take so much away all at once. So as I'm not quite on my feet, I can't really start it like that anyway. So I'm at the giving up sugar stage, and I feel so much better for that. I just don't feel like when I wake up in the morning that I need to be kind of dragged out of bed. And I don't know, there's this thing, I always feel like when I eat sugar stuff that my mouth feels like in the night little fairies or with big chunky boots have been pulling my tongue out and jumping up and down on it. And I just feel like I've got this awful kind of taste and feel that is now gone. So I know it's sugar that causes it. I've done it so many times in the past that I know why I get that feeling. So that's gone, and I feel kind of healthier myself. So obviously I'm not 100% yet, but I'm going to start gradually. I hate the word weaning myself away from, I've weaned myself away from the sugar, now I'll wean myself away from other carbs. And weaning, you know, we do that to babies when we introduce food, so it shouldn't really be the same word, but you know what I mean. So I'm going to be doing that because I need to get myself back to me. And I haven't been me for a long time, ever since, you know, I've been eating badly, and that's kind of dragging me down. So I've got enough to contend with recovering from surgery and adjusting to being someone who had cancer. It's hard. You know, I sort of forget. I try and forget anyway, but I do. I forget that that's what it was. And sometimes I feel hard done by and sorry for myself that, you know, I had this surgery. But then every now and then I have to kind of say, well, you didn't die of cancer though, did you? You haven't got cancer now. So, you know, I have to feel grateful for that. But, you know, there is this element of how that ever happened to me is incredible. I don't smoke, I don't drink to excess. How the heck did I get that cancer? Because that's the smoker and drinker's cancer, and I don't do that. But I do feel lucky that, you know, they got it in, well, it was noticed by me and brought to their attention, so it got noticed soon enough, because otherwise it might not, because all dentists were closed. They're the ones who usually pick up on it. So I was lucky it was diagnosed when it was a T1 and small. But unlucky to have got it in the first place. But, you know, ever since, well, a long time before that, because I don't do the diet that I know makes me feel so much healthier and better, where I've been doing other things, I have felt so sick for a long time. And that is because of my food intolerances, and they need to go, basically. I need to get back to me and not try and do a diet that fits in with someone else. And I don't mean that to sound harsh, but I've been trying to do that because I thought I could do it with Gary. It would make life simpler. You know, we could eat the same meals. Well, you know, I've tried that. I've tried that and tried it again and tried it with bells on, and it's just not going anywhere. And I need to feel back to me, you know, the me that I've been feeling like this for a while. because you know what, Facebook gives you those memories that pop up, and you think, hang on a minute. It was only a few years ago we were doing this. It's only a few years ago I was doing that. And it's only like 5 years ago that this happened. And you think, where the heck is that person? And that stamina and that energy and vitality, where's that person? And I know a lot of it was is dietary for me. And I know that sounds far-fetched, but it's not. I've been there before. And I know as well that I've had major surgery and I've had my lymph nodes removed and all of those things. And so I'm never going to be back to that person. I'm never going to get quite there, but I can get as near as I can. And that's my where I'm going now. I've got when I've got this resolve, when this happens for this resolve, there's nothing on this planet that can actually tempt me off it. And I just needed to get that resolve. And the only way I can get that is because of, I sit here and you don't know the ins and outs of all of these ailments that are plaguing me, but there are so many and they are all down to it. So they're all going now. I've had enough. I'm going to get back to what I do best, and that's cutting the carbs. But I don't just cut carbs. I do it in a healthy way. I don't sit and eat piles of fat. I can't do that. It's not really me. But it works for me. And I might intermittent fast with it as well. Because when I did that, that was the healthiest I've ever felt in my entire life. So it's not going to happen for a while. I've got to get back to fitness first. So that's it. That's my outlook. Sorry, I had to move the cushion. Excuse me. Can't quite get it comfy. I need a new cush for my tush, guys. I think I might have to make one. What do you think? So I'm sat here, and although I just did that, I've not actually coughed. But that's not what I call a cough. That's a you don't understand when I say cough. I've had major fits of coughs that I can only describe as exhausting. When I was suffering at the worst of it, if I had a coughing fit, I almost passed out because it just took every scrap of my energy and the capacity of my lungs. And I was dizzy, and I just sat in the chair, almost passed out because I'd had a coughing fit. That's nowhere to be, is it? That is no state of health that you ever want to have. So I'm fighting back now. So that's kind of really an announcement or a discussion for my Slim Chat, I guess. But I've not been doing them, so. But, you know, it's part of my life, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So I don't know whether to change the name of Diet Rocks to Rocks Life. A lot of people suggested that name to me back in the day when I was changing the name of the channel. And I might, because it is more of a lifestyle. And it is more about life. So I might do that. Not change the Slim Chat. I still have that. If I ever get back to rights and get those chats up and running again. So this morning I woke up and I looked at my phone and I'd lost overnight 7 subscribers. I've been purged. And you think, hang on a minute. I've not been making videos. I've not been doing any activity to be purged. So I might be preaching to the choir that are already still subscribed. But I urge you guys to check to see if they've been unsubscribed to me. You know, I've been steadily rising. Steadily rising, even though I've been ill and not contributing a great deal. And then to suddenly wake up and they just go. I really hate that. I hate that thing that YouTube do where they just suddenly wipe people away. It's like, you know, and I know they will tell you get in touch with them and you have a discussion and they'll say, oh, we get rid of dormant channels, we get rid of spam channels, we get rid of this. Yeah, you get rid of my subscribers because I suddenly get a message saying, oh my God, I wondered why I hadn't seen your videos. You know, it would be someone who regularly contacts as well. Not that I think, oh, they haven't watched me for ages, that's why they've been purged. They are regular contributors. They write on my... So they suddenly thought, why am I not seeing any videos? And they get in touch and they realise they've been unsubscribed to me. Now, that isn't a dormant channel. That isn't someone who hasn't watched me for a long while. That's not someone who's died. That is a regular subscriber and contributor to my channel. And so I don't accept that they don't make mistakes. Of course they do. And because they do, they should not do it at all. They should leave well alone. And I know they have to combat these people who sell, basically, subscribers, views, circumvent the rules. I know they have to do that. Because there are growth channels, we all know, we've seen them. I used to have a couple of friends in them who did them, and I'd go in there occasionally, more or less, to say hello. And you know, I don't go in anymore. I don't have time to do anything anymore. I don't know where my life has gone, really. It's like I can't believe the weeks just fly by. They say it's a sign of getting old when time just flies, but it really, really does, doesn't it? It's like, you know, I can remember that a second ago it was last weekend, and here we are again. But yeah, it's Formula One weekend, so I'm going to be watching that a little bit later. It's the practices and the qualifying. I'm not in love with it as I used to be. The end of last year left a very, very bad taste in my mouth, the way it all finished. There was quite a few things that happened during the season that I weren't happy with at all. Like the Belgian Grand Prix, that was a washout. And so what they did, rather than say, okay, we'll abandon this race, it won't count, they brought the cars out in the order that they qualified in, and they drove slowly round the track twice under a safety car, and then declared that the order of the win of the race. There was no race. And I think that was a fiasco, and just travesty. You know, the people in the crowds were still happy because they were there, they were drinking, they were, you know, they didn't see a race, and they should have had their money back. They should have not just had their money back, they should have rescheduled it and said, you know, there's plenty of vacant slots in the calendar where other races have been cancelled, and they're not going to be going there. So we didn't have to do it the following weekend, but they could have slotted it in to another part of the calendar. They could have done. But no, it's all about this. It's all about money. It would have cost too much, you know, didn't want to refund people, didn't want to, you know, have to do it again. And yet Formula One's one of the richest sports in the world. So that annoyed me big time. There was lots of other little things throughout the season that were wrong. But then it culminated in that fiasco of a final race, which, you know, left such a bad taste that I'm looking forward to Formula One, but I don't trust them anymore. I've lost faith in the fact that things are fair, and I've lost faith in the fact that they care about anything other than getting money. And yeah, so I don't know. I'll watch it, and I usually want to watch Drive to Survive on Netflix, but I really don't care this year. I don't care enough to watch it. I might watch it, but I don't want to see smug faces who cheated their way to a title win. That's basically, you know, whether it was them or whether it was the incompetence of Michael Massey, I don't know. But whatever the reason, it's left a really bad taste, you know, and I'm kind of just not as enthusiastic as I used to be. And maybe that I'm hoping that this season they renew that enthusiasm for me by making whatever changes they've made count, because it's just, well, enough said. I'm going to blow my nose again. I'll be back. Oh my goodness, back again. So anything else I've got to tell you? I don't think there is really. No. I kind of just sitting, crocheting, watching telly, thinking of all the tutorials I want to do. I've also got an open with me to do, but I had no voice to do that, so it just wasn't going to happen. But, you know, I've got plenty of ideas and, oh, I've still got no postage. Yeah, that's the other thing. I've been trying to sort out shipping for my shop. It's the one thing that is causing me a massive headache. And the funny thing was, all for the last 2 weeks, I've not really done anything on my business. I wasn't well enough. I had Harley first off, and every time I sat in here at the computer to do something, his little head would pop round the door and he'd say, I need a drink, I need a wee, or something along those lines. So I would abandon it in the end and just say, okay, I'll spend some time with you instead, you know. So, but, you know, he'd be occasionally engrossed in something. I think, well, I'll get 5 minutes. I'll go and have a look at this, or I'll order something. And then I'd look, head would pop round, or... So it was no real way of doing it, so I didn't. And then I was just too ill to do it. So there's been a couple of weeks where I've had a break, and I had an afternoon yesterday where I sat in front of the computer, we had the Zoom, and I tried to read emails regarding the shipping, and I got such a thumping headache, and I suddenly realised I haven't had any stress for 2 weeks. None at all. None whatsoever. And suddenly it was back. But I need to sort that out. Now, it is proving to be something of a poison chalice. So I really... I've not heard from the ones I want to hear from. I can't believe this is the way they want to run a business. Or it's not just them. It was other shipping companies as well. They're exactly the same. There is no phone number where you can ring and speak to anyone about that, you know, about the thing that you want to speak about. So you get in touch with them and they say, we'll arrange for someone to give you a call back within 24 hours. They don't ring. Oh, that was my stomach, sorry. And so last night I emailed them because I managed to find an email for the company, but whether it'll be the right department, I don't know. But I emailed them and I told them what had happened. I've also written them a letter, a physical letter, which I will post, because one way or another they are going to get in touch with me, because, you know, why not? I mean, and when you do call the customer service, the person on the other end of the phone has such bad English. I don't know what country they're in. I can't pinpoint that accent. It almost has a ping to it when they speak, but I don't know. I cannot place the accent, but they have very bad English, and you can't understand what they're trying to say to you, and I'm sure they don't understand what you're saying to them. I'll get someone to call you back. So that's as far as you get. It's no good. Another one has sent me an email. I've had to jump through hoops trying to predict things I can't possibly predict. So I kind of get this quote from them with an attachment showing the various zones throughout the world and costs. And this attachment is pages and pages of tables, and none of the headings of the tables have explanations to what the headings are. So you've got the zone, like above or whatever, and you've got, say, AB, BC, DT, and then the costings, and you think, well, what do they mean? What's AB? What's that? Doesn't say. And so if I print that out, it's going to be pages and pages, and then I've got to try and study it and see what it means. If you have any questions, please give us a call. And you think, you know I'm going to have questions, don't you? Because that is just a pile of rubbish as far as I'm concerned. And that was FedEx. I'm still waiting on UPS. UPS is the one I want to go to. They're end to end. I think FedEx probably are. But UPS, we've seen their trucks. We've seen all over the world. It's end to end. They start with your package. They deliver your package. So the upshot is, I don't know whether straight off the bat I will do UK domestic shipping first, because that would be the easiest thing to set up, you would think, still with it like fraught with problems, while I then gauge how many parcels I'm sending and start incorporating, or whether I'll do UK US and then bring in the rest of the world. I say the rest of the world. I've looked at some of the charts, even on UPS, and I cannot believe the cost of shipping to places like Australia and Canada. I don't understand, and I can understand Australia being the other side of the world, but Canada and the US, to me, there shouldn't really be that much of a difference. I don't understand. I really don't. I know it's massive countries we're talking about, massive land masses, but still, you know, it's not like we're talking about going to Siberia, is it? You know, not that anybody would want to at the moment, you know, just saying, as an example of somewhere would be hard to get to, you know. Anyway, I'll work it out. But whether I start inputting domestic first and then very quickly bring others in, I don't know. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I want to get it all up and running. So I can do that. Oh, I'm worn out now, guys. Really, talking has worn me out. See what I mean? I need to get back to fitness. I need to get back to me. And I don't feel like I've been me for a very long time. Even though I've been well, as in not sick, I still haven't been. It's like a car. If I likened myself to a car, then although I was running, I weren't running to peak performance. I was running sick. You know what I mean? My big end was going, perhaps. I don't know. My big end has long since gone. Enough of my big end. But, you know, if you can't laugh about yourself, you're in trouble, basically, because everyone else laughs at you. They do. You know, they do. So I can't find one of my chargers. I am really annoying myself. I've lost two things that are very important. I've got my new laptop charger and my little one, because I bought that one, the little one first, because the other one wasn't available yet. And I've got those, but my old one, my really old laptop, which has got a lot of info on it that I really want. Do you think I can find that flaming charger? Well, and there's not that many places that I would have stashed it either. That's what I don't understand. Anyway, at least I'm getting through some of my stash. I'm busting some stash. You might see the yarnscape behind me has changed a fair bit. Look at that. It's changing because I'm using it. Yeah. Making stuff and using it. Now I'm wonky. I do apologise. Anyway, I'm going to get off, guys. I think I've been talking at you for a while, and I need my breakfast because I have to take 6 steroids and an antibiotic with breakfast every morning. And so I need to get that so I can take them. But yeah, 6 every morning, and they're tiny. They taste disgusting. They really do. But they enhance the effect of the antibiotics, so can't grumble at that. Yeah, 6. Never forget, I had this GP. I used to love my doctor. Dr. Farquharson, his name was. He's retired now. I hope he's still with us. But he had a really sarcastic, dry sense of humour. And before I kind of cottoned onto that, he just seemed like one of those old school doctors that you couldn't approach. You know the ones I mean? You got a bit of a certain age to know what I mean. But when I was a kid, doctors were formidable, kind of. They usually had a crap bedside manner. They were usually like the biggest nerdy boffins in the school, you know, the ones that, and they never learnt people skills, and they were supercilious, and we never had that kind of rapport with GPs. Some, I guess, did, but if you had a lot of money, maybe. Anyway, not long came Dr. Farquharson, and it was one day something happened where I said something back to him. I think it's because, you know, as you get older, you do get a bit of a tongue in your head. And he laughed. And instead of, because I suddenly thought, oh dear, what did I just say? But he laughed. And then after that, we would have banter. And one day he asked me what I did for a living, and I told him I worked for the ambulance service. So then, for some reason, he must have thought I was educated to a doctor's standard. So he would come in and he'd talk to me in these terms. And luckily, I always understood what he was talking about. But he would, you know, he would kind of talk to me like I was some kind of medical professional. It was quite funny. But one day, he put me on some steroids. And because I've always had bad chests, you know, this always happened to me for some reason. And I put that down to the fact that my mum smoked during pregnancy. Anyway, possibly. So he gave me these steroids and it didn't get any better. So I went back to see him and he gave me another lot. And I'd read the packet of these steroids. And when he said he wanted to give me another lot, I went, you're kidding me, aren't you? And he said, why? And I went, really? Okay. So I got this leaflet out of my bag and I read him the side effects. And I said, like, okay, these things, they caused acne. Like I need acne. And he's starting to chuckle on the other side of the desk. I went, bleeding from the eyes. Weight gain. Oh no, that I definitely need a bit of that weight gain. And so we're going down the list and I went, and what the hell is moon face? Moon face. And so he's by this time he's crying. And he just went, oh, it's where this, you know, if you're on them long term, you might take on this big round face that glows like, and it's, you know, does resemble the moon. And I suddenly realised there was a girl at work like that. So I said, you know, well, like I need that. And he went, you have to be on them long term for that. I went, but you want to give me another 2 weeks? And he went, I'm talking years. You know, I'm not talking weeks. You're fine. You won't get moon face. So after that, whenever I walked through the door, he would say, hi, Moonface. And that became his little name for me, Moonface. So, yeah, anyway, I survived his two lots of steroids. Didn't get too much weight gain, acne, bleeding from the eyes or Moonface. But I miss him. I really do. You know, the GPs that we've got now are really nice, amiable, and you can talk to them and they're approachable and they're more modern. But, you know, I had such a laugh with that man because he had such a rich career. He used to be, when he first qualified, he was in India and out in Africa and all places like that, working. And he had so much knowledge and he knew about everything. His speciality, believe it or not, was sexually transmitted diseases, which I didn't know that for some time, but you know, couldn't believe the things that he'd done in his life and his career. He was just an amazing man. So yeah, they just don't make them like him anymore, sadly. Anyway, having said that, I'm going to go take my steroids, my Moonface steroids, have my breakfast and get on with the day. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to check that you haven't been purged and watch out soon for some videos popping up. Try and get my winners videos and maybe new giveaways and stuff as well. I feel really dizzy now. I moved my head too quick. So thank you for watching. I'm on the road to recovery. On the road back to me. And so, yeah, all good around here still. All good in the hood. See you on the next one. Bye for now.